Hi guys, with this video I'm going to show you the steps that you will need to do to revive the dehydrated sourdough starter. This method is valid for pretty much any sourdough starter dehydrated, but specifically for the one that you can get from our shop, online shop, which is thesourdoughscience.com/shop. You will find the link below in the comment. I hope you enjoy this video. Let me know if you have any feedback. Ciao belli! Congratulations to getting your dehydrated sourdough starter from the Sourdough Science Academy. Here's what you'll get: the dehydrated sourdough starter, 50 grams of powder, and the guide, how to revive sourdough starter, with all the steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and at the end of the guide you will get the sourdough bread recipe as a bonus, and also the baking instruction. Okay, so let's see how to revive the dehydrated sourdough starter. First of all you need is the dehydrated starter, 50 grams, but you will need at the beginning only 25 grams. Then you will need a mix of baker's flour, the pizza and bread that we provide, and the whole grain. This is a mix that I do myself. It makes my life much easier when I need to feed my starter. I just mix the two flour in a 50% mix in a way that I don't have to get two bags and feeding one and the other. I just put them together, give it a stir, and this is ready. It's a feeding flour, what I call the feeding flour. All right, 50% whole grain bakers and 50% pizza and bread bakers flour type 1, meaning high extraction, which is really useful for the bacteria. All right, then you will need a spoon, tablespoon. I like to use chopsticks to stir, and you will need a clean small jar like this one. 300 ml is the best size, and filtered water. If you're using this kind of setup, it's going to be very easy. And also, obviously, you will need a scale, all right? So everything is set, and all these ingredients and tools is seated on the side of the bench of the kitchen, and every day is ready to do these steps very easily. All right, let's start with the first step. The first step is to place 25 grams of the dehydrated starter in the jar. All right, 25 grams. So you have another 25 grams for something goes wrong with your starter. Hopefully not, but that's the backup. You got a backup. Then I'm going to add 50 grams of filtered water. So just to explain, this will just compensate with the water that is being evaporated from the dehydrating of the starter. So 25 grams of starter, initially they were 50 grams of sourdough starter, fresh sourdough starter. Okay, so dehydrating, the 25 grams will evaporate and leaving behind 25 grams of powder. So I'm replacing the 25 grams that I dehydrated, and then the 25 grams for the feeding. Okay, now I'm going to add the 12 and 13 grams of the both flour. In this case, because I already have the mix already done, it's 50 grams of this flour. 25 of this flour. I'm going to add 25. If you haven't done this mix, you would have done 12 grams organic bakers and 13 of the whole grain. So 25 done. You see, in this way it's very easy, and I can guarantee it will make your life so much easier. What you're going to do now, just give it a stir, everything together. Now I'm going to give you another tip. So the mix looks, let me see if I can focus rightly. You see, it's not super liquid, it's dense. There's a nice healthy color. All right, what you're going to do now, you're going to clean the chopsticks. You don't want to waste any of the ingredients. And you will see here, all this part in here, they will dehydrate very easily, and that's where mold can attack easily. So what you want to do, you want to scrape down all the edges. This is every time you do a feeding. If you have a silicone spatula, it would be even better, it cleans better, but even with the spoon, as you can see, it looks perfect. That's all you need to do, and that's how it looks, okay? So this is the first step of the dehydrated starter, how to revive the dehydrated starter. You just need to close with a lid that doesn't have the silicone seal. You just turn off the scale, leave it on the bench. With this setup here, it's going to be much quicker. In 12 hours, we're coming back and do the second step. So now it's 11 o'clock, so in 8 hours time we come back and do the second step. I'll see you later on the next video. It's 8:30 p.m. After 11 hours, let's check our sourdough starter. As you can see, a couple of bubbles are there, so that meaning that the bacteria are starting to revive, okay? So at this stage we'll proceed with step 2 of discarding and feed it back. If in your case you don't notice any bubbles at all, you might just wait a little bit longer. You can wait 12, 16, 18 hours until 24 hours. And then if nothing happens after 24 hours, you just proceed with the step 2. Consider that the amount of activity will be affected by the temperature, and as you can see here we have 29 degrees, so in 11 hours has been enough at 29 degrees for having the bacteria starting their fermentation. If the temperature will be colder, it might take a little bit longer, so I highly suggest to wait a little bit longer and then proceed with step 2 when you notice some bubbles, but anyway within the 24 hours. Let's proceed with step 2. So we want to discard 50 grams. Let's turn on the scale. Take a little bit amount out of the jar. Let's check. Minus 20. Minus 40. Minus 53. That's perfect. Okay, so now we are going to replace this 50 grams with the equal amount of water and flour. 25 grams of water and 25 grams of flour. Total 50, and we are going to stir. Again, this is step 2. After noticing a little bit of bubble, that meaning that the bacteria are starting their metabolism and having the byproduct, which is the CO2 and the acids. Again, as we did before, as we did this morning, we clean the chopstick and we scrape the edges of the jar. That's all done for today. This is the consistency of the mix. Again, cover with lid, leave at room temperature, another 8 to 12 hours, and then we proceed with step 3. Let's move to step 3. Today's now is 10 o'clock, so 14 hours later, so just a little bit more than 12 hours. Let's see how the sourdough starter looks. Again, like yesterday, a little bit of bubbles, and then meaning that the bacteria are still weak. You see, after 14 hours, not much change. So we just keep going with the same. Actually, the step 3 is the repetition of step 2. So we are going to discard the 50 grams. Let's see, 42. 48. Perfect. Then we are going to replace again with 25 grams filtered water. All right, and 12 grams of bakers, whole grain bakers, and 13 of pizza and bread bakers flour. In this case, again, always I just combine the two flour together before, and I'm going just to add 25 grams in total. Done, we are going to stir. So now we are going to feed again the bacteria. And we'll see tonight in 8 to 12 hours what's going to happen. That's the mix. Again, remember to scrape down all the sourdough starter from the edges of the jar. Here we go. Again, the rubber band is at the top margin. We are going to close with the lid, turn off the scale, and I'll see you in 8 to 12 hours. Okay, 9:30 p.m. after almost 12 hours, let's see how the sourdough starter looks. As you can see, lots of bubbles, which is quite exciting. Our bacteria are starting to get stronger. And if you see the picture before, at 5 p.m., I didn't have the time to do the video, but I just took the picture. There was almost doubled in size. And now what happened? They start to collapse. That's what happened when the sourdough starter reaches peak, and then after will start to collapse slowly. So in this case, if you consider that the sourdough starter has almost double in size in 7 hours, now it's 9:30 p.m. I know that I'm not going to watch and feed my starter for at least 10 hours until tomorrow at 7 a.m. So I know that my sourdough starter will be acidic because it will reach its peak in maybe 7 hours, if not earlier, and then will collapse. So tomorrow morning we'll have the situation where my sourdough starter will be collapsed at the same point. If you have a longer period that you're not going to watch your sourdough starter like me, like in night time, what I can suggest is to discard pretty much everything. I'm going to show you. Okay, let's do the discard of 90%. What does it mean? I'm going to discard pretty much everything. You can see the consistency of the starter, it's liquid, that meaning that it's over fermented, okay? So I just leaving behind pretty much just the leftover, okay? And I'm going to feed, let's say that this is 10 grams roughly. So I'm going to replace the same amount that I've been discarding. Let's say that this is like 10 grams, and I'm going to replace, for simple math, let's do 100 grams. 90 or 100 doesn't make much difference. So I'm going to add 50 grams of water. And 50 grams of flour. Remember, the 50 grams of flour, they're always a mix of 50% pizza and bread bakers and whole grain bakers. Let's reach 100. In this way, we are going to give more food for the bacteria, and so they will ferment slowly. Going to mix with our usual chopstick. Cleaning the chopstick, not wasting nothing, and scraping down the ingredients. Now again, I left behind roughly 10 grams and I fed 100, so I will have 110, so that's totally fine. We are going to lose always a little bit of starter, you see on the spoon. We're going to wash, so that's totally fine, 10 grams extra. All right, that's how it looks. and let's adjust a little bit. This is the 10 extra grams. Let's adjust the rubber band, and that's ready to rest for the night. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. So just to clarify, I want just to explain one more time what happened. So we proceeded with step 1, step 2, step 3, and today, now in this video, we've done step 4. But instead of doing the 50% discard, which is always the same step, we have done 90% discard and feed it back. Because we have a longer period where we are not going to watch the sourdough starter, and so we can't control when it will reach its peak and then starting to collapse. To avoid this, I just give a more food in order for the bacteria to ferment slowly, because they need to go through more food. This is the explanation of this kind of feeding. If you are a step 4 in the morning, that's totally fine. Just proceed with 50% off and replace the amount that you've been discarding. Hope this video makes everything clear. If you have any question, please let me know, and look forward to see your baking. Good morning, and as you can see, it's 7 a.m. of the following day, and our sourdough starter is doubled in volume, which is great, that meaning that the sourdough starter is ready and now we can store in the fridge. Let's have a look inside how it looks. You see this medium-sized bubble, and the smell is pleasant, it's not acidic, and that makes the perfect signs of an healthy sourdough starter. Next step is to store in the fridge up to 1 week, and ideally use it every week for our sourdough bread recipe, which is included in the guide. Before starting the bulletproof sourdough bread recipe, obviously you will need to transfer the sourdough starter in a bigger jar, like for example this one, like 800 to 1 liter jar, and then fed with 180 water and 90 grams baker's whole grain baker's flour and 90 gram pizza and bread flour as directed on the guide, on the little guide that you have, and then just wait again the 4 to 10 hours for doubling in size and then in volume, and then start your recipe. All right, very looking forward to see your result. Let me know. Thank you, bye. In the case of your sourdough starter didn't double with the 4th step, just proceed again with the same step of discard and feed it back. So in that case, you would discard again 50 grams and then replace the same amount. It depends of the strength of the bacteria, it depends of the flour and the water that you're using, and also of the temperature. So everything depends, but roughly in 4 feed in total, it should be ready to go. If not, just proceed, keep feeding, and it will be ready. Just be aware, if you won't be able to use it every week, which is ideal to bake every single week in order to maintain the starter alive and strong, you can store the sourdough starter in the fridge up to 1 to 2 months, knowing that the bacteria will become weak, and so there will be a process to regain and revive again the bacteria, which is always keep discarding and feeding. If you wish to know more, I have a full online course for the complete mastery sourdough bread. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoy, and if you wish to know more about sourdough starter and sourdough bread making, I have a full online course on my website, which is a great place to learn sourdough and be supported over your sourdough journey, and I look forward to see you. Ciao belli!